G'day viewers, it's Michael here again and welcome back to Single Racer. Now here I am on Bathurst, and because I had a few months off, there's been a few updates to the cars and a couple of the bonus tracks to Automobilista 2, and it was just a sheer fluke and good timing that the last car that was added was this one here, the beautiful Chevrolet Corvette. Absolutely fantastic. Here it is in race trim, and I thought I would feature it off for two reasons. I know the classic Porsche has also been added, the RSR, and that's a more streamlined, more elegant car, if you want to put it that way. But I grew up racing this car with two fantastic games from my past, one of them being Grand Prix Legends, but also GT Legends, which featured this car, if not this very version. And it is absolutely fantastic and an absolute beast. And I've got to say, one of the things that surprised me was that normally the tyres aren't shown outside on VR, but this time they are, but the actual exhaust isn't, unless it's on the other side. It's probably on the other side, I just realised that. So I thought I would pit them against each other and do 3 laps on Bathurst and just see what these cars are like coming to them fresh after a fairly long break. So this is Michael signing out for Single Racer. I'll catch you next time. See you later, and let's go classic racing. Okay folks, so as we get ready on the start finish line, let's look across to the Porsche and we're off. And let me start with a couple of negatives just to get that out of the road, because I tried both cars to get used to them. I hadn't driven them before, so I just wanted to feel. And the immediate thing I noticed was with the Porsche having a 5-speed, whereas this has got just a straight out 4-speed, the Porsche just seemed a cut above, you know, much more polished than this brute of a car here. And so I had to really dial down the speed of the Porsche just to keep up with it. So I then checked what the speeds were on the time trials, and the Porsche is like 9 to 10 seconds quicker when you take the first place position on the time trials for both cars. So I definitely had to dial it down just to keep up with it. But make no mistake, if you like brutish cars, then this Corvette is an absolute beast. It's just so enjoyable to drive as I try and get it through this section here. And I've got to say, from a personal point of view, because I drove these cars in a game called GT Legends, is that not only do I prefer it personally, but the 4-speed seems to suit the Bathurst track more so. The Porsche, sometimes you get to corners and you're not sure whether to be in the lower gear or stay in the higher gear. It just seems a little bit wrong for the actual track, whereas this thing just seems perfect as I try and get the sheer weight of it. You really notice the weight of this car and the understeering, so I have to brake a lot earlier. So I'll explain that in the second part of the lap. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, as I'm talking over the car here, I've got the volume of the car down. So what I'll do in this second lap is show you an external replay also for those people that don't like VR, so you can skip to that to see the cars from the external replay and how good they sound. So let's switch over to that now, and let's turn up the volume and hear these cars in their full voice. Okay folks, so make no mistake, I absolutely love this car, but just let's talk about the negatives of driving it a little bit more. So the first thing is the understeering, the sheer weight. So I have to brake a bit earlier. Now, one of the reasons I love this car is my technique anyway, which is slow in, fast out, which suits the car. But I was surprised just how much more, at least 2 car lengths, so I had to brake earlier just to make sure I pulled her up. So here's a great example. I normally brake at the concrete on the left, but here I had to brake at the 150 just to make sure there I could feel the weight, just trying to get it turned in. And there's also a dead spot here, come on, where I feel like I'm doing an extra mile impression, where you're waiting for it. Now here is beautiful, where it's the first gear, but as soon as I change to second, there, it just dies. It's like that, a tiny little bit of dead spot in the torque band or the rev range, and it just dies. But then I notice this weird quirk where once it gets up and going, I find it really easy to catch the Porsche, assuming we're set to roughly the same speed. And I always catch it into the corner, but as soon as we hit an apex, it takes off like a jackrabbit. So here's a great example. I know I'm going to catch it, come down to here, and as soon as it hits the apex there, boom, it takes off. Watch it go. And I think it's the tighter extra gear where it just has more power to pull away. Same thing here. I have to slow down, put it down to first, make sure I get around the corner and watch it go. There it takes off. But now, as second gear opens up, watch how just the sheer power of this car. Absolutely love it. Let me lean over the top and show you the motor there and the engine vibrating. I absolutely love this car. It's a beast. And now I open her up, and normally I could probably outbrake the car in front, but I can't here because I have to make sure that I pull her up, to get her around the corner. Now, one final thing is, I knew the vocal would be live, but I knew always I was going to record this in VR to keep it from the replay very, very steady. So I know the replay is going to run out. So I hope you enjoyed this race. This is Michael signing out for Single Racer. I'll catch you next time. See you later.